Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to my second episode or video of on essay writing. Um, in the last one, I had given the basic requirements or the basic outline of how to write an essay, because essays or any kind of creative writing goes a long way in establishing your goodness, or you can say your effectiveness as far as the conveyance of your ideas are concerned. So, how good you are at being able to convince others about your thoughts and your ideas, that makes a good writer of any kind of creative writing. So your presentation skills are tested, your vocabulary is put to test, your expression is also gauged by the way you write, and even how positive you are as far as thinking is concerned. What kind of an outlook do you have towards life in general? Are you a positive thinker, or you have some amount of negativity? That also reflects in any kind of writing that you do. So it's really important to be positive, to have a positive mindset whenever you take to writing, any form of creative writing. I'm sure all of you have been doing this ever since you were in primary classes, starting from the very, very cliched kind of topic, write a short essay on the Taj Mahal. Even today, when teachers have to give a topic, they have to supply something to their young little children, they generally start off with Taj Mahal. I don't know what kind of a bond is there between Indian teachers and the Taj Mahal. But anyhow, jokes apart, yes, that's a very, very common topic. Now, coming to the types of essays, there are generally 4 broad categories of essays that we write. The first one, of course, is descriptive, the Taj Mahal, as always. Then comes the narrative essay, which is the description. It is a description, but it is something which is happening. It's a kind of a live telecast which you do in words. It's a written telecast. So if something is happening, a procession, the Republic Day parade, the Prime Minister's speech from the Red Fort, or anything which is happening currently. So it's a live kind of commentary on what is happening at present. Of course, that's in writing. The third one is the reflective essay, where you think about something and you put your ideas in words. Like I may write upon the types of books which Thomas Hardy wrote. So my ideas or my reflection upon his writings after having read a couple of his books. Like for example, I've read Far from the Madding Crowd, I've read Under the Greenwood Tree, or The Return of the Native, A Pair of Blue Eyes. So in general, whatever he's written, I get a fair idea of his style of writing, and I reflect upon that, his positive traits or the positive points of his writing, and maybe a few negativities if they are there. So that's a reflective essay. I think about something, an idea about something, and that is put to paper. The fourth kind of essay is an argumentative essay. It's a kind of a debate, like you're writing for and against both. You may have arguments for the topic, in support of that topic. You may also have a few, ideas or a few points against the topic. So that is an argumentative essay. These are 4 broad types of essays that that students or school children are made to write on. Now, I've already mentioned what is being looked at when you are made to write an essay. So now I'll straight away come to what exactly the essay should look like. After you've done your collection and organization of the ideas, you've made a draft, you've edited it, and you have revised. But what should an essay look like? It is a kind of a person. An essay can be likened to a personality. Like if we start painting a person, we start with the head, the face, then we come to the shoulders and the body, and then we go down to his or her limbs. So that's the proper way of starting. Similarly, an essay also is likened to a body. The starting point is the introduction. So how you introduce your essay goes a long way in establishing your rapport with the reader. It has to be very attractive. It has to be something, when the first paragraph is read, the reader becomes interested in seeing what you are going to add into the essay next. So this has to be very attractive. This is the introduction part, or the head, you can say, of the essay. Then comes your main content. Here you have to give your ideas in general or in detail about what you are writing. Again, depending on the kind of essay you are writing. Like suppose if it's a Taj Mahal again, if I take that example, who made it, when was it made, what was the kind of stone made, what kind of architecture was used, what are the very, very important things that you see over there, the minarets, the kind of stones, the semi-precious stones that were used to make designs and decorations. So all these things come under the description. And then the last part is the conclusion, which again is as important as the introduction. So here you will give your ideas upon your feelings after seeing that particular monument. What did you feel? What were the ideas when you got after you saw this? So you came back home, you reflected upon your experience over there. So what do you feel? Do you really think it is a symbol of love, or do you think otherwise? Do you think Shah Jahan was really madly in love with his wife that he built up this structure? Or was he a very cruel king because he cut off the hands of the workers who made it so that they could not make another one of a similar stature? So then it depends upon you how you look at it. So these three are the main parts of any kind of an essay. Now when you start your introduction, it has to be done in a very meticulous manner. So there are 3-4 things which one has to keep in mind, how to make your essay more interesting and more effective. Interesting, of course, the people read through it. So you have to make it interesting, but more effective, that people believe what you are saying. So there are 2-3 points which I would like to speak about. The first one is that when you start off the essay, it would be nice if you start with a quote. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that you have to have a quote over there, but if you feel that you know something which is relevant to that particular topic, it's always good to start with a quote. So the knowledge of idioms and proverbs comes in very handy when you come to creative writing. You can use them, especially in the introduction part and in the conclusion, the concluding part. You can use a lot of quotations over there. So that is again very important. And I'll come to all these add-ons a little later, but let me start off with the structure part again. Like I said, you have to have a proper structure to the essay, like the introduction, the main content, and the conclusion. Then we come to there should be absolute clarity in your ideas. Like vague ideas or vague points should not be included over there. Keep it as clear as possible. It should be as clear as crystal. Your ideas should not be vague. And here what I'm trying to imply is that the ideas which you are trying to put down, they should be in a logical sequence. Don't keep jumping from one point to another. That will not give authenticity to your write-up. So you have to go like when you climb a flight of stairs, you place your foot on step number 1, then you go to 2 and 3 and 4, and subsequently maybe you reach 16th or the 20th step. So similarly here also we must try to follow one point into another to give it a smooth kind of a flow. So this is very important. Your ideas have to be clear and they have to be put in a very logical kind of sequence. Then your language. Now we always say that children should have a good vocabulary. Yes, that's important. But then when you are writing about your thoughts. You're not trying to show off. You're not trying to put a point across that you have to believe me. So the language which you use should be convincing. More than making it very decorative and very flowery, it is a whole lot better to make it convincing so that your points can be conveyed to the reader in as clear a manner as possible. So keep it as simple but effective. It should be forceful. So if you know some good words, please do use them, but it should not become a kind of a show off. Then that may probably go against your favor. I just spoke about the usage of quotations, idioms, proverbs, whatever. If you have knowledge and if you feel that it's relevant to your write-up, you must use it, especially in the introduction and in the conclusion. So try to remember as many quotations or proverbs or idioms as possible. Then you could give examples. If you feel there has been a live example which is relevant in this particular context, do put in over there. Like suppose if you're writing something about the Queen of Jhansi Ki Rani, maybe you could give example of other brave women from history or from the modern scenario as well. So it depends. But again, as I said, if it is relevant, only then give an example or quote an example, a live example, a real example, a truthful example over there. So that is going to add on to your the forcefulness of your language. You could also put up your own comments. You could give your own ideas, and you can also put up a question. Is this really the thing that we wanted? Or is this what we sought after by doing a certain activity? So when you put up a question, that also gives a very good impression to the reader or to the examiner that you are totally into that particular concept that you are talking about. So these things can be added on as maybe additions, or maybe you can say to beautify your overall write-up. And then, as I said, conclusion is absolutely necessary. It has to be very convincing because it has to be a kind of a gist of whatever you've written earlier. Whatever you wrote, it has to cover up everything, and it should be a befitting ending to your writer. So these things, I'm sure if you keep in your mind, you're going to be very good writers, and your writing will be very, very effective. So that was it. And now once again coming back to a few words, a few pairs of words which are generally confused, right? So I cannot end without adding this little bit of masala to my video. So coming to the first pair of words, ensure and ensure. People are usually confused, or even if they are not, the pronunciation makes me feel that the proper understanding of the word is not there. People usually use ensure for ensure. Ensure is I-N-S-U-R-E. Ensure is E-N-S-U-R-E. Ensure is like an insurance. LIC, and there are so many different types of insurances. So you insure your life. You don't ensure your life. You insure. So IN is an insurance which is done by a company. Ensure is when you make something very, very clear. It has to happen. I ensured that my son carried the raincoat because it was about to rain. I made it sure. I was absolutely sure that my child should carry a raincoat. I ensured that everything was ready before the guests came in. I was sure that I had made up everything properly. All the dishes were made and kept ready, that as soon as the dinner is to be laid, I can do it quickly. So ensure and ensure. Then effect and affect. Here there is a lot of confusion. Now I'll tell you, effect is a noun and affect is a verb. Effect is E-F-F-E-C-T. Affect is A-F-F-E-C-T. Effect. The effects of movies on children. The effect of light on your eyes. the effect of something on children. So effect is an abstract noun. You cannot see it, you can just experience it, you can feel it. But affect, something affects me, so that is a verb. Children are affected by the sights they see. The children were affected by the story they were told by their teacher. So it is the effect that happened on the children. They were affected by an effect. Effect, noun, affected, verb. So something happened. So that's a verb. We get affected by sights that we see. But the effect of that sight is something which is the result of what we have seen. I hope I am clear. If not, you can write down in the comment box and I'll give more examples. The next one again is listen and hear. I think I mentioned in one of my earlier videos. Listen is when you listen to something intently. You make an effort to hear something. That is listen. Hearing anything. I heard a sound outside. I can hear the ticking of the clock. It does not really affect me. I'm not bothered. It's getting into my ear, so I can hear it. But listen, I will do intently. I listened to my teacher when she was speaking. I try to listen to the speech of the Prime Minister when he speaks from the Red Fort. So listening is something which you are doing on your own. You are focusing your sensibilities into getting to hear what is being said to you. So you listen to something. All right. I listen to music. I love listening to music. And last, again, a lot of people I've heard, they do not understand the difference between tell and said, or told and said. My teacher said me to do this. No, she told you to do something. Said is when you're just speaking, like she said that she doesn't like movies. So it doesn't hold any meaning as such. I mean, it's not an order which is being given to you, or it's not categorically being told to you. So when we use the word tell or told, then it is different. Like for example, the teacher told us to complete the work by the end of the period. So it's like it's something very, it's a confirmed kind of a task which the teacher has given you. So if you said that the teacher said us to complete, that would be wrong English. The teacher doesn't say to complete, she tells you to complete. She told you to complete your work. My mother told me to come back home straight from school. My mother said me to come back home straight from school would be wrong. So said is different and told is different. Told is a proper direction. It's a proper order which is being given to you. So you were told to do something. You were not said to do something. Said is to give you an idea. Somebody said something to you. So you heard. But when somebody tells you something, then it is something in particular. It is something which is very, very precise and clear. It could be an order or it could just be a simple statement. My mother told me that it is not good to tell lies. Or my mother told me that honesty is the best policy. So she's giving you something pointed. She's giving you something specific. So that's the difference, to tell and to say. So that was all for today. There is one more which I'll discuss later because I think I've exceeded my time limit. It's 18 minutes, which is morale and moral. This I will deal in the next video. So then have a happy Sunday and see you soon in my next video. Good night everyone, all the very best, and thank you for subscribing. Today I'm happy to say I have 101 subscribers. Thanks a lot, keep watching and keep benefiting. Thank you so much. Bye bye.